Passes. Moving on to adjustments to agenda. Mr. Belleville, are there any adjustments?
No adjustments at this time.
Adjustments. Okay, moving on to the next session, information and discussion section. Mr. Belleville, please present your superintendent's updates.
Thank you. Appreciate everybody being here this evening, and appreciate our guests that are here tonight as well. Just have a few updates. Keep this fairly short with our principals presenting tonight, and we have another presentation. Want to try to get to those as quick as we can. So on our agenda this evening, I want to point out two trip requests that are out there. First is Miss Toller looking to take a group to Spain. She took a group to Costa Rica most recently, and just an incredible experience for the students. And so she's looking to take a group to Spain. I believe it will be in the summer of 26, if I'm not mistaken. So a little bit of time to plan and all that type of stuff, but she wanted to get that in front of the board as soon as possible so that they could start moving forward with the planning phase. Also, want to call out Ms. Poston taking several trips to Muskingum University. We've increased our partnership with Muskingum through College Credit Plus. They've just been an incredible partner over the past 6 months in trying to expand not only College Credit Plus opportunities for students, but true dual enrollment opportunities to where students can stay in classrooms at Fairfield Union and still earn college credit. And so many times our students have to leave campus to go to OUL, and when you have students leaving the building, it really does create a void. You like having all of the students there together. A lot of our students who thrive in leadership roles or try to be more involved in the culture of the building, if they're leaving to go somewhere else, then you lose that aspect, and you lose those leaders out of your school building. And so Muskingum's just been a great partner to try to expand the opportunities that our kids have to get college credit, stay here at our school, and they do that through approving our teachers as basically adjunct faculty at Muskingum so that we can offer more classes in our classrooms. So Ms. Poston will be taking students several times to Muskingum for events that they put on called Hooked On, and then fill in the blank, whether it's Hooked on Education, Hooked on Nursing. Some of Muskingum's strongest programs are nursing, education, and engineering. Their nursing program, year in, year out, is ranked number 1 or number 2 in the state. I mean, extremely strong nursing program. We've had teachers come to us from Muskingum. They're extremely well prepared. So we're just looking to expand that partnership a little bit, and these are opportunities for kids to go visit that campus during the school day, learn about their programs, see what that campus is all about, and with their proximity to our community, it is a commutable distance for kids if they want to do that, but if they want to live on campus, you're roughly 55 minutes from our district to their campus. So it's a nice, comfortable range for kids who might not want to go too far away from home, but still want to get away a little bit. So appreciative of the relationship with Muskingum, and appreciate Ms. Poston willing to take groups of students there to learn more about the university. So would recommend we approve both of those trips. We have 3 policy updates on the agenda for second read and approval. As we get to those, I can answer any questions you might have, but just want to kind of call out in conjunction with number 2 on my bullet points there, legislative updates. Over the next couple meetings, you're going to see me bring a lot of policies forward for updates, and this is due to the flurry of legislative action that happened right at the end of the summer. There were multiple pieces of legislation that were passed in July and go into effect October 24th. And those new pieces of legislation are actually changing how we have to have certain things worded in our board policy manual. So over the next month or two, don't be alarmed when you see a lot of policies coming forward. It's not because of anything that we're behind on or lacking. It is literally the law changed, so the wording in the policy has to change. example I can share with the board tonight, and I shared it with our staff at our professional development on Friday. A new law was just passed that really limits how teachers can talk about political ideologies in the classroom. Our current board policy encourages teachers to share their personal thoughts and feelings in relation to politics and when you're talking about hot button topics, but our board policy stresses that teachers should inform students. This is how I see it, but you need to know all the facts and make your own conclusions. And that I think it's a common sense way to approach topics. You present all aspects of a situation or all aspects of a topic and allow students to form their own opinions, but many times students will go to teachers. They respect their teachers, they admire them, they look up to them, and students will ask teachers, hey, how do you personally feel about this? Because they just want to know that they have that personal connection with teachers. And some of the new legislation that has passed essentially says that we cannot share our personal beliefs with kids in the classroom when it comes to political ideology and some of those type of things, that we need to remain neutral. And so we're going to have to adjust our board policy, the wording in our board policy, to meet the demands of the new law that will go into place October 24th. So there are several pieces of legislation like that we just have to adjust as we go. So just kind of giving a heads up, over the next few meetings, you'll be seeing a lot of policy updates. As far as district updates, we're really off to an incredible start to this school year, and it's hard to say, a start to the school year. We're almost through September. We're past the midway point of the first quarter here, and it's just been really solid. You walk through the halls, and there's a definite buzz and excitement in all of the classrooms and all of the buildings. I think our PBIS initiatives over the past couple of years have really taken root in every building. You see kids eager to do those things that receive positive rewards, and I think our staff has just done an amazing job of emphasizing that, of catching kids doing the right thing and then rewarding them for that and calling attention to those things. So it's great to see that. Chiller project is just about completed. All the chillers are in. We're in the process of just fine-tuning things at this point with the controls and getting temperatures dialed in. So really appreciative of Matt Smith and our maintenance team that have worked really hard with Verigy and Train and CBSI to complete that project and get it going. If you look around campus, we've completed installing flags on the light poles around the middle school and high school campus, and I just think it's a great addition, great call out of our school spirit and community pride, and glad to see those things. We have Fair Break coming up, and we're obviously excited about that. You see kids as they're preparing their 4-H projects and show their animals or whatever projects they have going on at the fair. There is a definite excitement around that and an energy there that is just contagious. You love to see it. Looking forward to Band Day, the Thursday of Fair Week, and I know Mr. Kitchen has our band, tuned up and ready to go. So we're excited for that. So just a lot going on in all of our buildings and around campus. It's all exciting. And with our staff, the last 2 days, Friday and today, we had professional development. Friday was more kind of district-led, and I think we did a lot of great things that day. CPI training for our staff, and that just teaches staff how to work with students who might be escalated in some way if they're having just an emotional day or have a problem, how to talk with those students and de-escalate situations. It's a very valuable training that we've done a couple times over the past few years, and And then today was more building centered, and our principals just did a great job working with Edie Schilling, Matt DeStadio to line up professional development that met building needs today. So, Friday was more kind of district led, today was more building led, and just as you walk through the buildings, just a lot of great conversations about education in general, and where we're going, what we're doing, and when you have days like today, then my next point is talking about our report card a little bit. You know why the report card is what it is, and there's no secret there. There's no special formula. It comes down to just a great staff working really hard, and kids and families that support that process, and that's the formula to success. And I'm really proud of our report card. Just a general update, as a district, we're 4.5 stars, which is up from last year. We were 4-star last year. So we're excited to see continued growth. As happy as we are with the 4.5, we quickly, everyone's attention almost instantaneously, from principals to teachers, staff members, where can we still grow more? I mean, you're happy, but there's still work to do. Until we are a 5-star district, we know there's still work to do. So, it's exciting to see everybody happy with the results, but eager to get back to work, and how can we continue to improve. We'll have a much larger report card update in October. Mr. DeStadio will put together a presentation for the board to get into some more of the finer details, but I at least wanted to do a call out tonight to recognize the incredible work of our staff and students and community to earn that 4.5-star report card rating. So we're happy about that. And also in October, I know the board has been very tuned in to the science of reading and the purchase of our new reading curriculum, as well as coming on the heels of our purchase of curriculum for dyslexia and interventions for students with dyslexia. So in October, we'll have a larger presentation as well on the science of reading, and kind of give the board an update of where we're at, where we're going with that. I think, again, a tip of the cap to Edie Schilling, our curriculum coordinator, Mr. Knott, who is working hard between both buildings, Ms. Tokars, Ms. Rice, Ms. Hahn, our building leadership who is working hard to oversee the implementation, and then our staff, our instructional coaches have just gone above and beyond to kind of work ahead and look ahead in the lessons to help craft those and help teachers implement, and then just the amazing work that the classroom teachers are doing to implement that curriculum. And we're well ahead of the curve. The state doesn't require that curriculum really be implemented until the end of this school year, and we hit the ground running at the start of the year because we just didn't want to lose time. This is a valuable process, and we want to help kids grow as learners and readers, and that's one of the places on the report card that we think we can show growth and continue to improve. So Mr. Knott will kind of lead putting together a larger presentation for the board in October to give an update on the science of reading and how that is rolling out in the building. So any questions on those things? It's an exciting time to be here, and when you see all this stuff happening and all the activities, and we're coming off of Community Day, we're seeing everything going on in the buildings, the report card gets released, fair break coming up, and what's going to happen during fair break. Our kids just do such a great job presenting at the fair and all that type of stuff. You can't help but be excited day in and day out. We say it all the time, but it's always a great day. It's always a great day. So that's all I have for this evening.
I'm sorry, with the chillers.
Yep.
Was there any unexpected?
Yeah,
any hiccups or anything along the
we
way?
had some issues at every building had a few hiccups. Most were expected. A few more at Rushville Middle School than the other buildings. Really, as it turns out, through no fault of anybody, but kind of through that process, this is why we're so selective about who we work with. Verigy and CBSI have been tremendous. Trane, we made the decision to pay a little bit more for a longer warranty, but also just the product of Trane. They're an industry leader. So we made that decision to make sure we bought a quality product. Because of the issues that we were having at the middle school, Trane was flying in specialists from across the country to come look at our unit and make sure that it got set up correctly, corrected any issues. They sent an executive in to meet with myself and Verigy and CBSI to make sure we were all on the same page. They wanted to make sure that we were happy as a customer and answer any questions that I had. There were a couple of minor issues at the middle school, but one kind of major one that came about, and without getting too technical on all of it, the pumps that we have and the motors that we have in our buildings are original to the buildings, and they push the air or the coolant coming out of the unit. The motors push that through the building, return the coolant to the chiller, and that cools the air coming out of the chiller. Well, the Trane units will function pushing out anywhere between 300 and 800 gallons per minute of the coolant to circulate the building. As long as you're within that range, the unit works just fine. However, Trane has a very specific number. We want it at this number so you get maximum energy efficiency. And our motors that we had in our buildings, whenever they came in and inspected those and then designed these chillers to be custom built for our facilities, our motor said it was going to push out 350 gallons per minute. That, again, it was original to the building, OFCC installed. The chiller came in, it just was not pushing out enough air to really cool the building the way we wanted. It was constantly going into alarm because it said it wasn't getting enough flow of the coolant and all these type of things. So, Verigy tells CBSI, put meters all through the building. We want to know exactly where the breakdown's happening. And this is a process that was not included in the scope of work. We haven't received one change order. We haven't received one extra bill to pay for anything else. They put these meters in. Turns out the motor that has been in our building since day one when it opened was pushing out 250 gallons per minute, not 350 that it was rated for. It's probably been that way since the day the school opened, and no one ever checked it. We had no reason to. That should have been done by the inspectors when they originally opened. Another kind of red flag that made the original chiller, work way harder than it ever should have had to work to cool the facility because that motor wasn't functioning properly. During this meeting, they pointed this out. And, all right, well, what are we doing? What are we going to do about it? And CBSI and Verigy, just instantly, well, you're not going to do anything. The new motor's already ordered. We'll have it in next week. I'm like, well, what do these motors cost? And they're several $1,000s, like roughly $5,000 a piece or so. And I'm like, oh, all right, okay, but how are we doing? And no, we got it. So Verigy and CBSI covering the cost out of that because nobody's fault. They guaranteed us a smooth installation. They guaranteed us they would make sure everything was working properly before they left. This needs to be done to make sure everything's working properly, so we'll take care of it. All right. When we did our original energy conservation project, the board chose to go with Verigy. Back then it was Dynamics, and they were not the cheapest bid by far, but part of their deal is we give you a price for the project. That's it. If it costs way more to do the project, that's on us for bidding it in properly. We take it out of our end and we make sure everything's done correctly. If something pops up that isn't anticipated, we'll fix it out of our profit. And they proved that time and again during that initial project, and again, with this one. Ms. Roberts and I instantly talked about, well, if this motor isn't functioning properly, should we go ahead and check all of the others in every other building? Because they're all original. Now, all the other units are working properly, but they are going to measure the other units and check those, and the motors are 13 to 15 years old, and so there's a chance we may elect to replace those other motors at some point. We have new chillers, we have new controls. Do we go ahead and put new motors in just to make sure that we're getting maximum energy efficiency, because we know the cost of energy is going to continue to go up over the next few years, so.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to recognition of visitors, we have a public comment.
And,
Mr.
we have, Mr. Mowry is here to make a presentation on behalf of, the Shriners, but I'm gonna have Mr. Turnbull kind of introduce Mr. Mowry and explain what this is all about. And, just, we're so lucky to be in the community that we're in and have the support of not only just people in the community, but organizations within the community. And Mr. Mowry's been just a longtime supporter of our school district, and takes a lot of pride in that. And on top of just being a great supporter, it's an honor to call him a friend. So thank you for being here, Mr. Mowry, on behalf of the district. Mr. Turnbull, you want to step forward and kind of explain this, and then we'll have Mr. Mowry come up.
Sounds great. Last year, Mr. Knott sent a letter to me. Thought maybe it was something that might be interested in, but it was basically, I call it a grant, but an opportunity to just maybe acquire some funding for specialty equipment for students with physical disabilities, physical limitations. I reached out to Lindy Schwab, who is our physical therapist that we work with through the ESC. We kind of discussed it. We talked about some of our students and some equipment that would help them, whether it is something like a gait trainer that helps them actually move from place to place, or even a table that's adjustable in height so that we can take care of our students' needs. So she actually helped put together kind of a proposal that included specific equipment that we could utilize for our students, the cost of that equipment, and that was all part of an application process. So we submitted that, and then found out early this school year that we were receiving what we were asking for. So that's how I met Mr. Mowry.
Well, thank you, Mr. Turnbull.
Yes.
Good to be here. At my age, it's good to be any place. But also, Matt, good to see you. I hate to tell you this, but that kid was a student of mine that still speaks to me. And the nice part of it was his dad was a student of mine, too, so that makes me really old. So, but I did retire in January after 53 years teaching at Ohio University. Taught over 9,000 students, I think. So, been fun. And like I said, some of them still speak to me. Last Saturday, I had a group down on, it's a big long title, but it means president of the St. Jerome Conclave of the Red Cross of Constantine. And I brought the group down. We went through the Georgian, went to the Sherman House, and then we went over to, it used to be Schultz. It's some Mexican thing, I can't remember. And there's our group was sitting there, and on that one wall is always, try this lady. Yes. And she says, we'd like to talk to you. I said, she said, well, this is the class of 64 at Lancaster High School, and I taught there, so we just had a jolly good reading. Some of those kids still speak to me, too. Well, we don't care about that. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Ladin Shriners Hospital Association, which there's about 200 shrines in the world right now. And out of that 200, the Ladin in Columbus is the only one that has this type of, so and the way it happened, back so many years ago, Shriners decided to build a hospital in Columbus, a Shrine Hospital. So Ladin got together and raised a bunch of money. And then the Shrine, in its infinite wisdom, decided not to build it there. So we had all this money, we're about to give it back. So we kept it. And much to the dismay of the people in Tampa, which is the big black hole, which I'm not allowed to say anymore, with money. And so we formed our own Aladdin Shrine Hospital Association for Children. We've been there for quite some time. The Shrine Hospital started in 1922 with the first hospital in Shreveport. That was back during the polio thing. And it was primarily to help kids with polio and that sort of thing. Now we have 22 hospitals. I was just talking to John. I was in Northern California here a couple months ago. Went to the hospital up there to see what they're doing. And, you know, like I said, I'm old. And when I was going through the university, I learned about nerves and all that stuff. And I did learn that, don't you know? And we learned back then, you know, if you had a nerve that was cut, anything below that was going, it's called volume degeneration. And now the Shriners are proving that's not right. And it's just amazing what they're doing. Spina bifida, which the spinal cord doesn't close, but not nice. I watched what they were doing out there. They're now taking stem cells and putting a little patch of material like that in utero, inserting it in that opening, and it's working. Kids are growing up normally in there. So Shrine's been working at this for a long time. Our local hospital, we work with Children's Hospital, Dr. Zamora, Quincy Zamora. We currently have, I think the last meeting was last week, about 250 kids, I think we're working with. A lot of them in scoliosis. Now, you remember I taught you about kyphosis and lordosis. You want to say a few words about this?
I'll take this one.
He doesn't have the size. He went into, sold out, went into administration. You know how that is. Oh, sorry about that, right? What's his name? Not yet. Not yet. That's how I always remember. Yeah. Anyway, that in the old days, the schools used to check for scoliosis, which is that abnormal curvature, and we don't do that anymore. And we see a tremendous amount of that at Children's Hospital. I was at the Lexington Hospital a couple years ago. It showed me a picture of a little girl that was curved, so I said within a month she would have been dead because of the pressure on the lungs and the heart. Put a couple of titanium rods in there, straighten that kid up straight in line right now, you know, so it's amazing. And what we're doing in there. I was glad to hear it. Can I say something? Yeah, I can say it, I guess. Talking about reading. One of the other groups that I belong, which is the Scottish Rite Masons, sponsored the Reading Center in Columbus, the Dyslexic Center. And I was chair of the board when we opened that, and we used the Orton Gillingham method of teaching these kids how to read. It's amazing. You know, that poor little kids. I've had some I know that were dyslexic at the university there. But anyways, Kirk Wright, work on blindness, you know, local lodge, which you're a member of, does a lot of Spatial Olympics, kids like that and other things. It's just amazing. But anyways, you didn't hear me. I have a check right here for $8,096. And this is for a high-low changing table, a Rifton Pacer gate trainer, and a Crocodile gate trainer. You know what all that stuff is, don't you?
That's fine.
I thought you knew everything. The high price helps you about to know that. But the Shriners are very, very pleased to be able to present this to you, John, and anything you need.
All right, appreciate you.
There you are, buddy.
Thank you.
Oh, I know you will. If you don't, I'll be back and get you.
Understand.
Don't cross this old man ass man. Don't say it. Hey, I don't have to stay for the rest of the
No, sir.
Oh, all right,
Thank you, Mr. Mallory.
oh, Mr. Murray, I'm sorry. How you doing, young man?
Good, yourself?
You're Dave and
No, Harold and Don.
Harold and Donna, yes, yeah.
I'm one of them Clyde King boys.
I'm not holding it against you. This kid, I went to school with his dad, Ambrose. Thanks, Steve. You're more than welcome. Oh, yeah.
Two older brothers. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You all
We
right?
just met.
Yeah, keep this gang in order. I'm going home.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Steve.
Have a good evening.
See you guys.
Be careful.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah. Okay, you got the important part. Okay. There's the end of it. Okay, see you guys later.
Thank you.
presentation than Mr. Bellfield's, but
Entertaining, very entertaining. I'm just kidding.
All right, note to self, I have to put on a show. All right, okay.
Oh, shoot.
All right, moving on to administrative
This one's gonna be
reports,
interesting.
which is reports under reports and presentation. We'll hear from Ms. Hans. You have a hard act to follow.
I certainly do. Speaking in the curriculum and professional development world, we do continue, as Mr. Belville said, to work with our reading and writing curriculum. Teachers are putting in a lot of work, and I just want to give a shout out to all of our ELA teachers, our intervention specialists who are working with them as well. During our professional development today, we did have a representative from Amplify come to the building and meet with our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teachers as well as the intervention specialists to provide hands-on training for them all morning. And that led up until lunch. And our teachers were very thankful. And then they had the afternoon then to plan with all of this new information that they gathered from that presenter. So again, just shout out to those ELA teachers and our intervention specialists as they are working through that new curriculum. Speaking of shout outs, we have rolled out a new RMS shout out so students can actively take part in sharing positive comments about each other and their staff members. So we are focusing on our Falcons Rise to Success characteristics of being respectful, responsible, involved, safe, and excellent in all we do. So students can nominate other students and staff members, and those people are then recognized on our morning announcements on Friday and in a group picture for our Falcon photo boards in the front hallway. Along the lines with PBIS, we do have our interim incentive this Friday. And so each grade level has selected activities for their students to participate in. So we are looking forward to celebrating that interim time period and having a lot of fun as we do that with our PBIS interim incentive. We celebrated our fall student athletes the week of September 9th. Each day that week we had a fun theme to get students involved and show their school spirit. And then we wrapped up that week with a pep rally, recognizing all of our fall athletes. The assembly took all of 9th period. We have a lot of student athletes, and that's really encouraging. Such a positive leaders, and in our building. So we love that we can recognize them. Kind of along some music news, Rushville Middle School participated in the Music Booster fundraiser. So hopefully if you needed any cookie dough or anything like that, you were able to hook up with a music student and order some cookie dough, just so that funds that are raised for that do help us purchase new instruments and music for our students. So thank you to everyone who participated in that fundraiser. And just an upcoming event on October 1st, Rushville Middle School is hosting Nationwide Children's Hospital. They're coming to provide some information about their SOS program. This is a program that we normally have in February that helps identify students who might be in need of some SEL support. And every few years they do an all-staff training. So this is the year that we are having Nationwide come in, and they're going to do an all-staff training after school for our entire staff for an hour after school. So we look forward to them and just the supports that they can give us as we are implementing that program in February. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on, Mr. Knott.
Well, this is a fun time of the year. This is when I say we start cooking. Because we have our assessments, we have our schedules down, we've tweaked what we need to tweak, and now we've thrown everything in and we just start working and watching the kids kind of take off. So it's a fun time. PD the last couple days, the teachers never give themselves enough credit. A new curriculum is tough to be learning it new as you're teaching it with the kids. They're doing a phenomenal job. The conversations that Mrs. Tokars and I have heard and listened to over the last couple of days, exactly what you would want to hear from them. Hey, this is what I've tried. Hey, how are you doing that? I'm running into this roadblock. What are you doing when you're seeing that? That's the power of when we pull the buildings together and they have this conversation. So kudos to them. That was a very nice job. We had school pictures. went well, everyone was smiling and shiny. Fingers crossed we get them back in a timely manner. I'm thinking, yes, this is the year that we will get them back in a timely manner. Hugo's Farms came, kindergarten. It's fun to see, like you see the new curriculum, and so it's like this 5 senses for kindergarten. And so it's fun to see the teachers are looking at it, they're going through the stories, and then you start to see them going, okay, what around us can we pull in to make this more real life? Perfect, just around the corner, we can do this. So they're planning field trips now, and the first thing they're going is, what around us can we go and see? And the kids can kind of appreciate in a different way or learn more about, and again, connect it back to those stories and things in the new curriculum. So it's that, again, they're not giving themselves credit, but that really tells me, boy, we're doing our homework, we're really digging in it and trying to make the best of those situations. So good job to them. We had our first golden coins earned. We're doing self-control for August and September. So Mr. Johns made the announcement. We have Pirate Webb in her, of course, costume, standing there, bringing the kids down. We have music playing. They're earning their coins for those good social skills that we like to see. They're getting their books out of the vending machine. A nice little photo op for the parents on social media. So that's fun to see as well. Kindergarten is also, again, tying it back to their curriculum. Community Helpers Day is going to be this coming Friday. So they're going out in the community for part of it, bringing some of the community helpers into the school for part of it. So it's just going to be a day, that's a day that the kindergarten parents will love us. Kids will be very tired by the end of the day when they get home. But it's ongoing, it's engaging, it's fun. It's pretty much the whole day. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. This is the first time kindergarten has done that. We've done similar things in first grade. First time that since I've been there, that they kind of say, hey, what can we do? And can we go out? And can we bring some people in and talking to the local folks in Bremen. So I'm looking forward to see how that shakes out as well. Second grade has just scheduled their Slate Run field trip for the end of October. That's always a fun one as well. It's book fair time. I probably spent, maybe half an hour just alone on the stage, going through books today, just looking and enjoying and predicting what I assume will be the quick ones off the shelf and those kinds of things. So they'll browse for a while and then they'll start shopping, and that runs into next week as well. Kudos to my staff, very proud of the report card. They work very hard. No big surprise that when we focus on what kids need, we end up in seeing things pay off there. And I'm going to keep it a secret, but we decided today what the costumes are going to be for the office staff for Halloween. Mr. Johns gets a check mark because it was there. He and Andy, I said, I'm not having an opinion. You let me know what you want. And Andy said, oh, I don't know if I want that pressure. I said, no, you guys are good. So they came up with a really good idea. So we will be set. It'll be fun. Come and see us that day. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Totars? Sorry about that.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm excited to share all the wonderful things that have been happening at Pleasantville over the past month. The start of the year has been filled with engaging activities, new initiatives, and a strong sense of community. In our first week back, we held a school-wide assembly for grades 1 through 4 to review our SOAR expectations, to be safe, on task, accountable, and respectful. We also introduced our new Super SOAR Cash initiative designed to recognize and reward classrooms demonstrating these values. Leaderboards have been set up outside the cafeteria, and students are excited to see their progress. We've already had 2 classes meet their goal, so they enjoyed an indoor snowball fight. You might have seen it on social media. Super fun. The use of SOAR tickets and SOAR Super Cash continues to positively impact student behavior at Pleasantville. We've had great participation from teachers and students, reinforcing our focus on accountability and respectful behavior. Our common areas, including arrival and dismissal, as well as recess, are experiencing significant positive environments as a direct result of our PBIS initiatives, and it makes me very, very proud to be the principal. We kicked off the year with a special celebration, our very first Falcons Nest Friday. It just so coincided with the hottest day of the school year. The students were so excited to be a part of this event, and we used it as an opportunity to reinforce our sense of community and fun. A huge thank you to Mr. Tony for bringing ice cream to the entire school. What a treat. And Mr. Kimmer, thank you so much for making a special trip to Pleasantville. And a big shout out to our amazing PTO for helping make this celebration possible. speaking of the PTO, the Pleasantville PTO recently had the opportunity to host Parker Basketball Jones, the son of Jim Basketball Jones. It was quite an experience. Our students were able to enjoy not just an entertaining show, but a valuable learning opportunity. In fact, he weaved our SOAR expectations into his entire show. Parker was so impressed with our student leaders who were on task, respectful, and exemplified everything we stand for at Pleasantville. These experiences support the growth and development of our students through meaningful learning experiences. Ensuring the safety of our students and staff is always a top priority. Teachers have been diligent in practicing all of our safety drills with students, and Deputy Dixon has checked in with every staff member this year, ensuring that we are well prepared in the event of an emergency. I would be remiss if I did not mention how our elementary teachers at both elementaries are laser focused on the science of reading, dedicating time and energy to mastering a new curriculum. I am so proud of their rigorous focus and the way that they collaborate to do what is best for our kids. They amaze me. We are proud of the positive energy at Pleasantville and look forward to the continued success of our students and staff and our families throughout the school year. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And last but not least, Mr. McPhail.
I don't want to go last anymore. There's a lot going on. Not a super long report tonight, but I did want to take a couple of minutes since the report cards have been released to just touch on the high school performance. And I mean, we're proud for sure, but really wanted to just mention this because to me, it validates the hard work that the teachers have done. We have a tremendous staff. I talk about it every chance I get. And you know, you spend so much time planning and working through challenges and all of the things that go into those teachers going out and making things happen. I mean, throughout the district, obviously, you know, the district report card is spectacularly good. And it's just, it feels good to be able to see everyone's hard work validated. But in terms of just a couple of quick specifics, at the high school, we did have an overall rating of 4. In all of the categories that get rated, we either exceeded the state standard or highly exceeded the state standard, with the exception of one area, which was progress, and we met the state standard there. But you know, we're competitors, as Mr. Belleville mentioned, and so you know, you do look to where, okay, that's a really good. So we feel responsible, Mr. Schaefer and I, with Mr. DeStadio, to dig into that data. And the progress indicator on the report card is based on the term value added. It's that measure where students start at point A and you're trying to get them to a point out here close to point B. A year's worth of growth in a year is the kind of the standard. That's what everybody's shooting for. And we meet and exceed that in almost every area, but it is complicated. There's a lot of data involved with that value added measure. And so we'll do our research on that. We'll see where our challenges are going to lie. It's a razor thin margin. We had a 4 rating last year. We're right on the cut of being a 4 rather than a 3. So we'll see where we're at with that and take steps to try to get that addressed. But all that being said, there are 2 areas on the report card that I feel are most important, and that is the graduation rate, because that's what we really do. We're trying to get our students to the finish line to graduate so that they can go on to their next phase. And then, and we've talked about it a lot over the past few years, having them ready for whatever comes next. And that's not a rating that you've got to look into the report card to see this rating. But our rating this year was 81.4% in that area. Now that's about 10–11% higher than the next closest school in the district. And I really feel that a lot of work is going into that, and what that's saying is that we're putting students out that are college, career, workforce, military ready. And I mean, if we can continue to do that well, then we're going to be putting successful citizens into the community, and we feel like that's what we're all about. So I wanted to give a shout out to the entire staff at the high school. It is not just the teachers. It's cooks, it's custodians, it's everything involved in that culture. and just really, really excited about that result. The other principals had talked about the last couple of days in our staff development. As you guys know, we've talked about our two areas of emphasis this year at the high school is data literacy and rigor. That's, now, yes, science of reading, but we feel all that falls under that umbrella. So we're really honing in on data literacy and rigor. So this morning we did spend half of the morning, the teachers are kind of, we're walking them through a process that's being led by Mr. Schaefer in giving them the tool and using and implementing the data tool that we're going to use to kind of screen every single initiative we do moving forward. At least that's the vision. And so we took our next step in that this morning. The teachers worked for about an hour and a half on that. They spent the rest of the morning working on WEPs. WEPs are written education plans. They're for gifted students. We have a lot of identified gifted students in the district and certainly in the high school. And all those students have to have a WEP, and that's a very technical document. It's a little bit like an IEP. And so the teachers were working on those to finish those up. We have a first week of October deadline for that. Then this afternoon, the best thing that happens in the district, in every single building, is the work that the teachers are doing in the classroom when they're with their students. And so we build a little kind of copy from the old county model when you would have presenters. So we had 3 of our teachers present on specific areas that they have kind of built a specialization in with their students. These are areas that they're passionate about. One of those being the use of artificial intelligence in building and grading student writing samples. Tremendous presentation by Mr. Thompson. Very well received by the teachers as they rotated through. So that was one of the areas. Another area was the concept of choice boards, where there are strategies and specifics that you can go into to give students some say-so in how they get assessed in your classroom, or what instruments or strategies are going to be used to teach them the concepts. Mrs. Swick gave a presentation on that. And then Mr. Sefton, the state has released tools that you can use, release test questions to build short cycle, formative type assessments that are aligned to the state assessments. Mr. Sefton uses those a significant amount of time in his classroom and has expertise there, so he presented on that. We had the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office in to do a presentation on trends that are happening in the community with high school age kids right now in terms of safety, violence prevention, mental health, all those things. And that is always a really popular presentation with staff members. So thought the afternoon went really, really well, and just appreciated to have a little bit of time to get with our teachers and over the last couple of days and take the time for them to hone their craft. So we appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity to do that. In terms of rigor, I just wanted to share with you, that is going to be a lengthy process. Moving your rigor up, I mentioned in my last presentation, doesn't happen fast, but we have taken steps already. I think our students are stepping up. For example, in our AP offerings, last year we had 103 students take AP classes. This year we've got 134 students taking AP classes. We have 120 students that are enrolled in various college courses through the dual enrollment and CCP coursework. That number will continue to go up. It has gradually edged up over the years. And our relationship with Muskingum University and trying to provide opportunities on campus for students to get those opportunities, we'll continue to build that, and that will accelerate that process even more. So again, we're excited about that. Just a few updates to kind of round out my presentation. We're coming down the home stretch of the fall sports seasons. We're having another really solid fall year. I'm not going to get into the specifics of all the records tonight. All of our teams are having success. They've all been in the running, in competition for league titles. Golf is the one sport that just finished up their mid-state league competitions. They had their 4th tournament last week. Both the boys and girls golf teams finished second in the league. I would be remiss, I know you're seeing in the press that both of our cross-country teams performing extremely well. Our boys cross-country team is #1 in the state, and they just beat the #2 team in the state at the Lancaster Invitational here this past weekend. So we've got some cross-country athletes performing at an elite level. Had our homecoming week 2 weeks ago, ended up with it was very successful, nice win by the football team. Had a huge dance, over 450 students at the homecoming dance. It was packed, behavior was great, everybody had a great time. So, all of the events, the pep rally, the recognition, the homecoming king and queen and the court, all of it, it was a great week. So, really enjoyed that. And then lastly, I mentioned Hope Squad to the board last week. This is a big SEL initiative that we're doing at the high school. We think it's going to have a huge impact in providing supports for students that maybe have fallen through the cracks or don't feel that they're being noticed or their needs aren't being met, and it is student driven. We've got, just met today with the committee. We've got the parent breakfast this Friday morning, and we're gonna kind of roll out the program to the students to the parents with the students there, have a little breakfast, a little celebration, and then our first meeting with the Hope Squad group to actually teach the first lesson will be, next Wednesday. I think that's October 2nd, so the Wednesday headed into fair break. As we get deeper into the semester, start to transition into second semester, you'll start to, and I'll share with you guys, I don't know what it'll be because the students are going to come up with the plans, but we'll be doing activities in the high school that are kind of driven toward reaching those students that we're aimed at. So students supporting students, there can't be anything better. So we're excited about that.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
I have a question, and Mr. McPhail, could be for you, or it could be for Mrs. Hahn, or Mrs. Tokar, for Mr. Knott. Mrs. Hahn, you mentioned science reading. It seems like it touches us all, and Amplify sent in a representative, and it was very receptive. Is that representative always going to be available if need be, or can be reached out to, or is that something that maybe when Mr. Knott gets into our meeting?
Well, the representative that we had today was actually from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So she herself personally, cannot be here at all times, but we do have other representatives from the company that we are meeting with online periodically. If we have questions, we can have questions answered through that representative. And then we also have, email going back and forth as well. So we do have constant communication with representatives from the company. But not, the presenter today, like I said, she was from out of state.
Okay.
When we went into contract with CKLA Amplify, we worked into the contract that they would have a representative on site a few times, especially here early in the year as we were implementing the program. So we paid a little bit extra to have more support. I don't know that we have them coming on site anymore this year. They were here at the beginning of the year, here today. But we do have online support throughout the year. Mr. Knott, I don't know if it's different for the
So
elementary.
Michelle and I, at least once a month, have a Google Meet with the two consultants that are kind of assigned in our district. And then there are, like Mrs. Hunt said, there are times where principals get on and meet with them too. And so an example of that, when I was troubleshooting a couple different things, I reached out to them. I said, hey, this is what it's looking like from here's what I'm thinking. And they could, within an hour, said, hey, have you thought about this? Would this work? And so it's there. It looks a little different than the traditional way, but the support is there.
Okay.
Good question.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other questions?
I don't think so.
Actually,
No, thank-
back to the report, I'm gonna stand up because, we're a big challenge. I know nobody has said it, but I know we all are very proud of the job that you guys and all your staff have done on the report card, and so
Amen.
we thank you.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah.
And I'll play off that a little bit. To me, it's the little things that are happening. What we just heard today from all four of you, that's what leads to the better report card. The field trips, that means so much to the kids, and the things you're doing at the elementary level, the extra things that we don't get measured on them. No one measures that, but it still brings so much value to the district and to the kids. So I think all that combined plays into this report card. I love the results of the report card, but there's so many other things that are going on that I'm even more proud of, so kudos to everybody.
Thanks.
Guys, appreciate you being here. I know it's been a long day, so you're more than welcome to stay if you want, but if you'd like to skip out, we understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to consent agenda section, workshops and conferences. The first one we have a workshop to approve. It looks like it's a workshop, Eddie Schilling and Aaron Lurich to the OAGC 72nd Annual Fall Conference, October 14th for $265 each. Did you want to?
It's a gifted conference. We
Okay.
send representatives to this every year. Edie is our gifted coordinator, and Aaron is what's known as GIS. It's a kind of a gifted intervention specialist. So they work very much in conjunction, not only servicing our students, testing them for to see if they're gifted, but they also do a lot of professional development with our teachers on how to differentiate and make sure we're serving our gifted students appropriately.
All right. Moving on to financial items. Ms. Roberts, do you want me to speak to it, or would you like to?
We have one item this evening, just the donation of the soccer team uniforms from Elevated Integrity for our Kicking Cancer fundraiser that is coming up. So, as always, very appreciative. Donations come in all different forms, all different times. So, very appreciative of these, and obviously going to a good cause.
So is that
Girls
the-
and boys, or
yes,
just
what's it say?
girls, or- Do you know?
What'd you say?
I do not know.
I didn't know if it was both girls and boys,
That's
or
what I was gonna
just
ask.
girls, or.
Let me double check,
Okay.
and I'll get back
That's
to you on
what-
that one.
yeah,
I'm
I was
not sure.
asking.
Let me
This was
double-
varsity reserves, all of it, or
I
just
can-
curious?
I can find this out pretty quick. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, moving on to the approval of the consent agenda items as recommended by the superintendent and treasurer. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Hoffman makes one motion. Need someone to second?
Second.
Mr. Kimmer seconds.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Kimmerer.
Yes.
Mrs. Conrad Zingmeister.
Yes,
Mrs. Johns.
Yes.
Mr. Smeltzer.
Yes.
motion passes. Moving on to the new business sections. As presented before us, we have the substitute classified list. We need to approve the list as presented. I need a motion to approve the list.
So moved.
Mr. Smeltzer makes a motion, I will second.
Mr. Smeltzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Conrad Zingmeister.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mrs. Johns.
Yes.
Mr. Kimmerer.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to the educational trip that Mr. Melville spoke about earlier, to approve Caroline Lovejoy Toller to take the group high school students to this educational trip in Spain in June 2026. I just want to say this is a fabulous, this is a great trip. I wish this was offered during the time my kids were going, because I would always love to go to Spain. I think. But I also noted too that the cost on it, and that's based upon the parents coming up with the cost. Is that a fixed cost, like they lock into the contract, right? Once they,
If you sign up by a certain date, it's one cost. If you wait and sign up at a later time, the cost increases. So the earlier you can get it locked in,
okay.
the lower the price is.
And I noticed too that they were looking to do a 2-day additional France trip.
We
Was that-
have decided against that. We're just going to do the trip to Spain.
Okay. Was that like a decision that?
Ms.
made-
Toller and I discussed it and talked about it, and there were a few logistical concerns that that we were looking into, and we decided it just wasn't worth all of the extra and the cost for the 2 extra days, so we kept it just to Spain.
Okay. All right.
Question.
Yep.
Yes.
With it being 2026, someone being in junior high is,
We've shared information with the current 8th graders.
okay,
So as they come up to high school, they'd be eligible.
have that opportunity.
Yep.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. No other questions? I need a motion on the floor to approve.
So moved.
Ms. Johns makes a motion. I need someone to second.
Second, Mrs. Conrad Zangweiler.
Mr. Kimmer seconds.
Mrs. Johns,
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer.
Yes.
Mrs. Conrad Zangmeister.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mr. Smeltzer.
Yes.
The motion passes. Moving on to the 6.3, the educational trip taken by Kathy Poston, takes students to Muskingum University Hook-On Days for program-specific events to learn more about the university on October 3rd, 17th, 24th, and the 31st. Are there any questions or comments? If not, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Smeltzer makes a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Hoffman seconds.
Mr. Smeltzer.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mrs. Conrad Zangmeister.
Yes.
Mrs. Johns.
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to the policy revisions. This is the second reading of the policy GCD-R, certified staff hiring, and the policy GDBC-R, classified staff fringe benefits, and policy DJB, petty cash accounts. There are no questions or comments. I need a motion on the floor to approve the second reading as presented of these policies.
So moved, Mrs. Conrad
Mr.
Zangmeister.
Kimmer makes a motion. Need someone to second?
I'll second.
Ms. Johns seconds.
Mr. Kimmer.
Yes.
Mrs. Johns.
Yes.
Mrs. Conrad Zangmeister.
Yes,
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Smeltzer.
Yes.
motion passes. Did you happen to find it yet? You didn't find it yet, did you?
I have the total amount and the total number, but I don't know what
Where
that
it-
would equal.
Okay.
So I don't know how many teams
That's,
that equals, which I can, you might know
It's-
if I
that's okay.
have the teams.
Just thought, if you knew right off the top of your head.
Yeah, I have the dollar amount and the number of t-shirts, but,
How many T-shirts?
I just closed it, sorry. That is, hold on. I think it's 53.
That'd have been both teams,
I'd say both. yeah.
boys and girls.
Yeah. Okay.
How many?
53.
53?
I'm guessing it's boys and girls varsity.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah,
Mhm.
it's one at the varsity.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Okay, moving on to the executive session. Is there gonna be any action?
No action.
No action. Okay, so I need a motion to adjourn into executive session in accordance with section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code.
So moved.
Mr. Hoffman makes a motion. I need someone to second.
Second.
Mr. Smeltzer seconds.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Smeltzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Conrad Zangmeister.
Yes.
Mrs. Johns.
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer.
Yes.
All right, and we are adjourned to